Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo care package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson.
What's up, it's your girl Sasha Banks, the legit Foster. You are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you can be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson, wherever audio podcasts can be found, and of course, live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Coming up September 19th, we've got our very first, and after 10 years of doing this, our very first 24-hour stream right here at the Twitch. Exciting times we're living in, Larson. I say that sarcastically because it's going to be a nightmare staying up for 24 hours or maybe just getting a couple naps in here and there. Anyways, that's good stuff. Raw tonight, setting up things for Clash of Champions, which is coming up in about a month or so. So we got a new number one contender for the WWE title, but probably the bigger story coming out of tonight is WWE decided it might be a good idea to break up one of the best tag teams going these days, and that's the IIconics. We had heard for a little while now that Vince McMahon behind the scenes, you're doing your Thunderdome impression of disapprove with your double thumbs down. We had heard for a little while now that Vince was impressed with Peyton Royce and saw her as a singles star. I'll be honest with you. I know that you're down on this move. I'm gonna sort of wait and see what they do here. But my biggest complaint is just how they did it.
There's no build, zero build.
There was a card during the show. There was a little corner lower third thing during the first hour of the show where they said in very small letters.
Well, they did announce at the beginning of the show with a full screen card.
Okay. My bad. I did not see that.
They did.
That the IIconics and the Riott Squad, the newly formed Riott Squad that just confirmed yesterday that they're going to be a thing, Riott Squad, was going to have a match with the IIconics. Whoever loses gets busted up. So the writing was totally on the wall here. It was completely telegraphed.
Totally. Where's the build? No build. Where's the build? No build. No build at all.
Dude, even if, because you could consider what's been going on over the past couple months, you can consider that a build. Even if Ruby Riott or Liv Morgan comes out to challenge the IIconics and say, hey, I mean, number one, it'd be a good reason for them to have lost yesterday, Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. They come out and say, hey, let us get one more chance of you guys, but we'll even raise the stakes. Whoever loses splits up and never gets back together. Then you're adding some intrigue in the moment. You're adding drama in the moment.
Exactly.
Then I'm tuned in. I'm like, oh no, are they going to do this? Are they going to do this? As opposed to some odd, like God figure compiling graphics in Photoshop just decides to do this. There was no build, not even a promo to justify this.
It didn't make it feel important or meaningful in any way when you have a card at the beginning of the show that says, oh, by the way, losing team has to break up. But why? There's no motivation for it. As you said, if one of the teams had come to the ring before the match said, all right, we like say, for example, the IIconics said, we lost at Payback pre-show. But here's the thing. We are best of friends. We've known each other forever. We've been a team for 10 years, so on and so forth. You guys barely get along, Liv and Ruby Riott, the two of you. We're not even sure if you're friendly yet. We're going to prove that we are the better team, the better friends by beating you. And if we can't do that, then we shouldn't be a tag team anymore. Do it that way.
Yeah. According to Doc Linderman's here in chat, apparently may be happening right now, Wrestling Observer Radio, according to Brian Alvarez. Maybe this is on Twitter. I don't know. I'm just getting this from Doc Linderman's here in chat. Says Brian Alvarez said, there's a reason this is being rushed and coming out of nowhere. Even if the goal was to get it done in this episode of Raw, you still could have gone about it in a more dramatic, shocking fashion, one which one of us have just illustrated. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, man. Maybe that means they're going to fast track. They're going to get Mickie James out of the equation for Asuka. They're going to put Peyton Royce in that spot. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But, I mean, look, like I said, in terms of whatever story they're trying to tell, I'm totally willing to give it a shot because it means that they have something planned for at least one of the Iconics. You can just hope that Billie Kay isn't the one or isn't going to fall to the side and end up on countless episodes of Main Event. I thought that her initial run, her pre-comedy run, her pre-Best Friends with Peyton Royce in kayfabe run in NXT, I thought if you blend something like that, what did Nigel used to say? He used to compare her to two old school Hollywood stars. And I forget who it was.
I don't remember.
The grace of this person and the athleticism of this person.
Yeah.
I don't really know my Hollywood stars. Peter Crawford, Peter Lawford. I don't know which one is which. Larson. But I think if they melded that with her amazing comedic talents, Billie Kay could do a lot of damage in the women's division as well. Yeah,
agreed. We saw more of Keith Lee's push. Now he didn't win this in the main event tonight, but it was a very protected loss. He didn't eat the pin. He ate an RKO, and Orton, after hitting an RKO on him, didn't even bother trying to pin him. Thinking maybe, well, he's going to kick out. I'm going to go to Seth, who just got spirit bombed, and he got the win that way. I was kind of expecting or hoping they would do something along the lines of they'd set up the main event, the triple threat match, and then Retribution would interfere in that. And so at Clash of Champions, what we got was rather than just Orton versus Drew again.
Yeah,
we got like they would just say, all right, all three of you're going to Clash of Champions, fatal 4-way for the WWE title.
They
so
could
get Keith Lee and Drew, who are friends, and then Seth versus Orton. They have to make a decision. Are they going to try to band together for the sake of that match to give themselves an advantage? So I don't know. They didn't do that, obviously.
Yeah, your point about about Orton covering on the Spirit Bomb is a good one because there is a good 5 seconds or so. I mean, yeah, he hit that RKO, but Seth was just laying there, and he still got that pin. They're booking that Spirit Bomb pretty damn strong.
They did. There's a lot of great. Orton had me cracking up tonight during that match, like when they were trying to get Keith Lee in the ring, and Orton was helping Seth pick him up, and it's such little small things. So he helps Seth pick him up, and he does this. Like his back hurts.
Yeah.
And he does it for half a second.
Yeah, it's good. It's
he's
good.
Just
No, you're right.
At such a great level right now.
He's doing really, really great work, and there's a lot of those little details to if his directive from Vince is make this guy a star, Randy Orton is selling everything Keith Lee has, from his size to his power to his speed to his strength, all that stuff. He's selling the crap out of it, and it's a lot of fun to see. Raw in general tonight, thought it was a solid episode. I thought it was a pretty meaty episode, if nothing overly dramatic happened necessarily. They had the matches leading to the triple threat at the end, which is pretty cool. I don't think I was really bored by anything. I really liked the Hurt Business stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those episodes of Raw that I started it and I'm like, all right, this is all right. And I look at the clock and it's only 5:45.
Like 6:15, yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much left. There's so much left. So it's not bad. Just the pace of Raw and the length of it.
Yeah.
Like they try to increase the pace. Like some of the matches were not that long.
Yeah.
But then they just jam it so full of other stuff that it just feels like it just kind of slogs along, and then there's never a good pace to it, especially when there's that whole extra hour you have to sit through it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, at the 7:00 hour, it turns into like, okay, let's
Raw Underground, they don't know what they're doing with that yet. It's a decent idea, but it's kind of lacking focus. I mean, I appreciate they at least were building a match. That was going to happen in Raw Underground with Apollo Crews and Shelton. Granted, that fell apart really quickly.
Boy, they made I don't know, the Three Amigos, whatever you want to call them. They made them look like Chump City. Some of the jobbers in Raw Underground put up bigger fights than these guys did against the Hurt Business.
Yeah, Hurt Business wrecked him all throughout the shows. 3 hours of Hurt Business wrecking him.
Dude, it's so funny because I referenced during a news brief, the mailbag on News Brief today, in the audio version, I referenced the interview that MVP gave, and I'll be honest, I forget who he gave it to, but he talked about wanting to work with Apollo and Cedric and Ricochet. These guys better like start getting like some sort of a measure of revenge because they got chumped,
Worked.
Yeah. Anyways, let's just hop right into this because there's a lot to get through. They do pack a lot into this, and sometimes it can be a bit exhausting.
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes it could be good if the stories are decent, and then, as you mentioned, sometimes if it's too much, there's just so much coming at you.
So, like, I don't know how
exhausting.
long the Seth versus Dominic match was, but I felt like that was supposed to be the one big, meaty, chunky match of the night.
So it was the main event. They gave that 12 minutes.
Yeah, usually Raw, I mean, there was that period of time anyways that Raw would always have like a big 30-minute chunk of match. And they kind of don't do that anymore.
No, I think they feel like instead they get like a 20-minute Randy Orton promo to kick off the show. So show kicks off. Update on Drew McIntyre. He has a hairline fracture of the jaw. So whether he's cleared or not, WWE Championship will be defended at Clash of Champions because every title has to be defended at Clash of Champions.
Oh, yeah.
And so tonight there would be 3 singles matches. Winner of those matches would earn a spot at Triple Threat match. Winner of that match would get a match against Drew at Clash of Champions, or I guess if he was not cleared. They didn't explain how they may handle that anyways. Randy Orton comes out for a promo. He talks about Drew offering him a rematch last week, but did a pity. So for Drew's trouble, he kicked him in the head 3 times. He says Drew thinks he deserves a WWE title, but as far as Randy is concerned, the only thing Drew deserves is a fractured jaw and to be in pain each and every single day and sip his meals through a straw. That rhymed.
Yeah.
Randy says he's the only person dishing out kicks in WWE rather than Drew claymoring him. Says you can ask everybody else he's punted. Drew says Orton is entitled. He says, damn right I'm entitled. I shouldn't have to face Owens tonight to earn a rematch at Clash. But I will jump through the hoops and beat Drew at Clash of Champions. That is if Drew could even make it to Clash. He's not there tonight, but he heard that Drew got together with some buddies to have a bonding experience of something they've all shared. He throws to a Photoshop of Drew and all his other punt victims in like the emergency room in the hospital.
Yeah.
And he kind of has like a laugh, like he's trying to sell himself. Ha ha ha. Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
like he's not convinced himself. It was great.
You don't want to.
It wasn't.
You don't want to lower Randy, or that's like something you do with like I don't know the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits.
That's mid card stuff.
You don't do that with Randy Orton.
That's mid card stuff.
Yeah, it was. Although I did appreciate that Shawn Michaels like I think he probably posed for the picture because like his wonk eye was extra wonky. Like he probably did like a I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny, but yeah, it was stupid.
It was pretty silly.
Yeah.
But then Keith Lee interrupts him.
Yeah, Keith Lee interrupts him, and he basically says, hey, I mean, actually, both these guys talk too much tonight. Keith Lee basically says that maybe a victory like mine over you grants me an opportunity at the title. And he says, I have no doubt that Drew, he's a close friend of mine. He's going to make good on his. And then Dolph attacks him. That leads into the match, Dolph Ziggler versus Keith Lee.
Only a matter of time before Keith Lee had a match against Dolph Ziggler.
I laughed so hard when I saw that card, dude.
Same.
I laughed so hard. Anyways, oddly enough, though, Dolph Ziggler, I know he got the jump on Keith Lee, but why did he give more fits to Keith Lee than Randy Orton did yesterday?
I know. I had the same question watching this match. It went maybe, I don't know if it's twice as long, but it went longer than the Orton match.
I would think that it went 12 minutes. It seemed like it went 12 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, but commentary was saying something along the lines of essentially that Keith Lee kind of won the match against Randy out of nowhere with the Spirit Bomb, sort of like Orton does or can do with the RKO. American Commentary mentioned that during this particular bout. This was a fun bout. It was Dolph throwing his body around all over the place, selling for Keith Lee, which is always good.
Make him a star.
In the end, he's setting up for a super kick, goes for it. Lee catches him, hits him with a Spirit Bomb to get the win. After that, we had Shayna and Nia Jax backstage for an interview. They're asked, given that you guys don't get along, the two of you don't get along, how did you get a win? Payback. And Nia says, well, I just told Shayna to follow my lead. And Shayna goes, no, I told Nia to stay out of my way. And look what happens. I essentially made both Sasha and Bayley tap out. And Nia says, well, the way I look at it, I'm the tag champ. Shayna just holds the other belt for me.
Ooh.
And then Asuka steps in, and then she's asked, hey, have you found out who your next challenger is? And then Shayna and Nia are just upset that Asuka interrupted their interview, and there's a little bit of back and forth between them, and that was it.
Yeah. After that, Asuka's in the ring. She gets an interview.
Oh, you're going to skip over Scrap Iron.
Oh, so I noticed that, but like something happened. I saw the later Scrap Iron one. What happened with Scrap Iron here? I know there was a Scrap Iron.
So
segment.
he's addressing security. He says, last week, Retribution ruined the main event. That won't happen tonight. And hey, security, if you can't deliver, WWE will hire someone who can. Jobs on the line to Scrap Iron.
Man, I almost had cry face in the later segment after Retribution. He was yelling
Get
at
to your
security.
post, do your job.
Man, he's so good. Anyways, I'm assuming after that was the Asuka interview in the ring?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
she's
yes.
asked, who do you think is most deserving? She said, whatever. All sorts of people have already tried and they failed. I'm ready for, and Asuka is ready for anything. Out comes Mickie James. And then she, puts over Asuka, and they reference their time in NXT, their match in NXT. She says, hey,
good.
no, it was awesome. Yeah. Hey, you're a great champion, et cetera, et cetera. Lana and Natalya, of course, are not far behind Larson. They all want a piece. Asuka says, I'm ready for all of you. There's a big scrum in the ring. That leads to a match a little bit later on. But before that, we get Cedric and Viking Raiders backstage with the ever-present Demi Burnett.
Yeah. So the Viking Raiders are teaching Cedric how to bash forearms, but Cedric's like, ow, that hurts. Demi walks in. She wishes the War Raiders good luck. She said, Cedric, I'm impressed you didn't join Hurt Business. And then she kisses Hanson on the cheek. They all leave. Camera pans over, and there's Angel Garza holding a rose.
You know what's ironic about that, though? I could talk about this later, but I'd rather talk about it now. Angel Garza shows up, right? Later on the Street Profits, they do the Dawkins coaching scouting report thing, right? The Coach Dawkins scouting report. He makes the assumption that Angel Garza is wealthy. Why?
Yeah.
Because he's always got roses to hand out, and he's got that fancy suit. But he wears that suit every single week.
The only thing he wears.
If he's like really Lothario, shouldn't he like mix it up a little bit? That's one thing that I can't stand about sometimes when WWE does that, when they have the superstars wear the exact same damn thing, even in their like civilian attire.
I know. Well, I mean, when Dawkins had the thing up, it was wealthy.
There was a question mark there. Yeah.
So Mickie James versus Lana, that was motivated from the segment with Natalya and Asuka, because Lana said, if you want a piece of Natalya, you have to get through me. Asuka joins for commentary, as you expect. This wasn't much of a match. Mickie James wins with Kicky James.
This is a great move, and we have renamed it. We have renamed it
to a better name.
It's a better name.
It's a much better name.
Lana's still not a terribly good wrestler. Mickie is a fantastic wrestler. Happy this was kind of on the short side. I'd really love to see if this is going to be Mickie James versus Asuka. I'd love to see that again. Even Natalya versus Asuka, because Natalya is a really good wrestler.
Have we seen Natalya versus Asuka?
Probably. I would imagine so.
I don't know if we've seen that. We have definitely. It has not been a feud. I don't think.
Asuka versus Natalya.
Natalya's
fought like everybody. Yeah, I don't think there's been like, okay, so they fought less than a year ago on Raw.
All right.
And this past February as well. On Raw as well.
All right. So, not a prolonged feud.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So afterwards, we get a bit of a Owens Alistair recap from last week, and then Charlie's waiting outside Alistair's room, waiting to talk to him. Orton exits and then walks away. That was actually pretty good, because he leaves the room and Charlie has her back to him. And so she doesn't know that he's coming out of there until the door closes all the way. He just kind of does this and then walks off.
Yeah.
It was great.
After that, it was they sort of talked up a little bit, the IIconics versus the Riott Squad, and then they had an IIconics interview. I know they've been in this little fake ring before, but they don't show it that often. Like I feel like it's like maybe once every couple
involved
Raws
on pay-per-views.
Oh, okay. All right. It looks like a kickoff set, like a kickoff show set.
It does. They might use that for the kickoff set, and they have the ring off to the side,
So this is like, if you didn't know going into this that they were going to totally break up, if you didn't realize,
is called telegraphing.
As soon as they mentioned it, this was such a telegraph, because they have pictures from high school loaded up. They have pictures from their time in the independent circuit loaded up. They are like basically shooting on each other about how much they love each other. There's no hint. There is barely a hint that they are in character until the very end when they say this is going to be iconic. It was, man, I honestly think, going back, this is a point that I was going to make. I don't think Vince and the WWE, they don't realize how much of a deal this is to a lot of fans. You know what I mean? I think they kind of underestimate how popular the Iconics are. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that. Maybe I'm projecting because I really like them.
Well, I wonder if it's a situation where, in terms of sheer numbers, it might not seem like a lot, but people who appreciate their work, the Iconics work, appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is that it feels like there's so much untapped potential with them as a tag team, especially when the women's tag division is pretty short on teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it seems like half the time they are the tag champions right now are the very definition of a team that's put together. Mm-hmm. They have to put together teams to keep their women's tag division up and running on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Here you have the Iconics, a team. They've been a team for years.
Yeah.
And, granted, there might be some circumstances which dictate one of them has to step away from TV for a while. I don't know if that's the case. That they felt like, all right, well, here's an opportunity to do something story-wise with them.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's not the case, then yeah, they might catch some pushback from it, because people who like the Iconics, I think, really like the Iconics.
I remember this part. I think everything you said is right. White Brownie here said, in one of the matches between, I remember this, Natalya yelled at Asuka, "You want to shoot on me?" You remember that?
Yeah. That's when Asuka kicked her in the head.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember that.
So moving on here, they had their little thing, and then so of course then we had Kevin Owens. What was supposed to be Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Aleister Black, prior to the match, attacks Kevin Owens during his
just can't
entrance.
Get Aleister Black right, can they? Now he's getting suckered by Randy Orton to do his bidding for him.
Well, I'm sure there's some quid pro quo. I'm sure
would hope so.
There'll be something in maybe he just gave him a wad of cash. He was like, "Hey, can I buy like an IRL cameo from you for like 100,
hey, I know
100
you
Twitch
and
subs?
I know you and Zelina are on Twitch. Yeah. You want a camera upgrade?
Do you want a cameo?
Stream at any bitrate you want.
Do you want a cameo from the Viper? Just go kick Kevin Owens in the head for me, huh?" And then Mr. No Depth Perception stumbles out of his room. He gives Kevin Owens.
I did like, so he's beating him up a little bit, and then he does stumble, like he's dizzy or lost his balance or something. And then he kicks Owens in the head with a black mask.
He's Mr. No Depth Perception. So then, he rolls Kevin Owens into the ring, and the ref is begging Kevin Owens. He's like, "I can't let you do this, Kevin." He's like, "Mickey, I can't let you do it, kid. I can't let you do it." And Kevin Owens is like, "Ring the bell. Ring the bell." And he's like, "I can't let you do it. Ring the bell, Mick." And then, so the guy's like, okay, he stands him up. He rings the bell. Kevin Owens manages to get like one good chop on Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton just drops him with an RKO, 1, 2, 3, and that's done. Didn't even give this one any star ratings, man.
No, it doesn't deserve any. What the hell they do with Kevin Owens? I understand this serves storyline purposes for Aleister Black, but there's better ways around this. Just don't put Kevin Owens in this match.
Hey, this is good. Listen to this. So Nats here in chat says, "I'm hoping this leads to Zelina with Aleister." How great would that be if like his character just breaks kayfabe and is like, "Honey," like there's this weird. He's breaking kayfabe, but he's still in kayfabe as like half blind guy, no depth perception.
Yeah,
he's like, "Honey, I'm a mess. Manage me."
Yes. Nurse me back to health, Matt. Nurse my career. That'd be good.
After that, La Familia de Mysterio is on the camera, or is on the TV, and they're all talking now. There's a daughter there too, and Rey says, "You know what? I'm too injured. He's too injured to fight tonight. So Dom is taking
When they
his
find
place.
that out, because they announced this in advance that we were getting Rey versus Seth tonight. Maybe
It was
they
literally
decided,
the only preview they had tonight.
I know. Maybe they decided, maybe we want Seth in the main event instead of Rey. So, sorry, Rey, you're injured.
Yeah. They need to get a new render of Dom. His little like WWE.com render that they use for the promo stuff is so bad. Like his head looks huge in it, and he's got the goofiest like grin. He looks like a giant 10-year-old. Yeah.
What's first on the priority list though? That or getting the new U.S. title in the graphic for a U.S. title match?
Yeah.
You would hope the U.S. title situation, because that's 2 pay-per-views now where they had the old U.S. title in the graphic.
Yeah. They got
Slap that belt in After Effects, have some shit radiating off it, bang, you're done.
I would think, dude, that's got to be a template they have. They have like 18 different titles that all do the same thing. Can't they just take a picture of the damn thing, crop it out, make it a PNG? There are PNGs available already on the internet. Just swap out the file.
I wonder if this is the deal, because I think all the belts that are in those graphics aren't photos.
Oh, they're digital, huh?
They're digital renders of them. So maybe, which you think, I don't know the design process. I don't know the deal. I don't know if somebody in R&D or whatever in WWE in their art department does a digital render of these titles before sending off to the belt maker. Don't know. But at some point in the process, there might be one on hand before the belt is actually made. Maybe. I don't know again. But it's just interesting to see. You know, we're 2 months on with this new U.S. title. Haven't seen it in the pre-match type deal.
So everybody in chat saying that Rey has a legit torn triceps?
Oh, really?
Jesus. Where'd that come from? Well,
I haven't heard that at all today.
Apparently the match last night. Yeah, I didn't hear that either. But everybody's saying it. Wow. Yeesh. That's a while. That's like Edge status right there. Anyways. So yeah, Dom's taking his place. And yeah, he said, if anybody can take my place, I want it to be my son. Of course, he wants to do that.
Oh yeah, 2 hours ago, Cage Side Seat says Rey out with torn triceps per WWE.
Okay. Wow.
But that's per WWE.
WWE announced it. Yeah, so yeah, it could be, yeah. Huh, interesting. Anyways, so after that we had, I believe, the VIP lounge with MVP and Shelton.
Yes.
I'm always nervous now
Yes.
about Steve Notes, man. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, why does it say here that Apollo is no, Lashley's the guest. Idiot. I don't
So
know.
MVP drops a bunch of Mad Max references to introduce Bob Lashley. That was cool. Reference Tina Turner, Master Blaster. That was all neat. Anyways, Bob Lashley comes down to the ring. MVP says, I want to get down to business. He says he knows a lot of men who made a lot of mistakes. Apollo Crews is no different. He just disrespected MVP because he got a taste of success. But there are 3 definites in life: death, taxes,
and Bob Lashley. Yeah.
Bob Lashley. Lashley said, I did what I was going to do at Payback, win the U.S. title. And then afterwards, when he was celebrating with Hurt Business, Crews came in the ring. I like this bit. I don't know if this is intentional or not. He says, Crews came in the ring to get a little bit of payback. At Payback. And then Bob promises that he'll get him back. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was pretty funny because it seemed in the moment. Yeah, he said, I'm going to get you back. Then Shelton got on the mic and said, and since Apollo wants to act like a little punk, I'm going to beat him up like a little punk tonight in Raw Underground.
The MVP. Sorry, go ahead.
No, MVP's just like, we got to focus on the 6-man tonight versus Viking Raiders and Cedric. MVP says, now said, I've been, and then Cedric Alexander interrupts, and he's like, MVP's like, hey, have you had a change of heart? And he's like, hell no, I have not had a change of heart. And then, but he said, but he's totally stumbled there. I hope Ricochet joins the Hurt Business. And just leave said laying there. Anyways, Viking Raiders attack from behind. Exactly why it wasn't. Well, I know. Wait a second. Yeah, why wasn't it Apollo and Cedric in this match for the 6-man?
Well, Apollo has the Raw Underground match later on. He's prepping
Shelton.
for that.
So did Shelton.
I'm going to answer for you then, man. Because last week they did a thing with the Viking Raiders and Cedric. That was established last week.
Yeah, I know. Anyways.
I see your point.
I mean, it's
anyway,
good to
Cedric picked up the win. This was great. He rolled up.
This is a good sequence too. I like this whole sequence here.
It was good. So Cedric, he was isolated. He was getting beat up a good chunk of the match, and then so he's going for a hot tag, and then Lashley and Shelton Benjamin pull Rowe and Hanson off the apron, and Cedric then rolls up MVP for the win, and so Hurt Business. Lashley and Shelton are ready to pounce on Cedric.
MVP's reaction was so great to being rolled up because he just looked and it was like the biggest smile on his face because he was he
laughed.
He's like, oh yeah, he got me here. He got me. That's good on him. This is his recruitment process. Him getting beat is simply, man, I want this guy more now he's not hurt by it. And so when Lashley,
he's impressed by it.
Yeah. And Lashley and Shelton, they're ready to pounce and Cedric looks terrified and he holds them back. MVP holds them back. Of course, after that, we're backstage and they're all beating the crap out of Cedric. They're all beating the crap out of him. You can assume maybe during the commercial break, he asked him once again, "Hey, do you want to join the Her Business?" No. Okay, fine. Just let's kick the shit out of him.
Yeah, they beat the hell out of him. Apollo and Ricochet run in to make the save. Cedric took a beating tonight. After that, we had IIconics versus. The night wasn't over for Cedric either, because he was isolating that tag match forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Next, IIconics versus Riott Squad. Of course, as you mentioned at the head of the show, winner gets a title shot against Nia and Shayna. Losers are forced to break up. Again, no build. And it had to happen in like a 3-minute match via a roll-up.
Yeah. I know.
Like it's not even like a huge moment for Liv and Ruby. There's no story beat where like, okay, even at Payback when they won yesterday, it seemed to be despite some friction between the two of them.
Yeah. You do this one of two ways. Either it's a protracted match that's high on drama, or, and this probably would have worked better had the challenge be issued at the start of the match, but it's like a 3-second roll up, like immediately. And it's like within the span of 2 minutes, you had a team and now you don't. You lost everything off of a fluke roll up. You do it. You either go to the extreme one way or the other. But yeah, just have like a lukewarm match, and then a roll up happens, and the IIconics are done. The extreme. It's funny because there was like some really goofy theatrics when they lost, but then Peyton Royce just sort of collapsed and started crying, and Billy, and that seemed like the bigger actual emotional moment between the two of them. But it was all over their faces when they came out as well. Like, this is a big moment for them. They needed this on a bigger stage, dude.
They did, and they need to give it a larger spotlight rather than just 3 minutes and then end it the way they did. But I mean, even this win doesn't do a whole lot for the Riott Squad either. If they tell the story of, well, the IIconics, both teams have their futures on the line, and the IIconics take it for granted that their teamwork will win the day. And then the Riott Squad, during the course of this match, have to learn how to act as a cohesive unit, because that definitely wasn't the case throughout their match at Payback. That's a good story to be told in the ring. That didn't happen, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, next we see Shane. He's walking up to the door at Raw Underground. Hypes on the matches coming up. Titus was going to have a bout.
Yeah.
He chokeslammed the hell out of some dude during his first match.
Dude,
gosh.
Am I wrong? But did he have like a mandible claw on while he was
like
holding
a
him up?
chokeslam?
It
looked
like
something like that, man.
It looked like a chokeslam, but I swear his fingers were in the dude's mouth like it was a mandible claw / chokeslam.
It was crazy.
I was like,
Titus
that's crazy good.
Titus was great in Raw Underground tonight. Then we get a Dom, Rey, Seth recap. We've seen some permutation of this like countless times, so no point to go over this. Seth versus Dominic Mysterio again. Before the match, of course, Seth walks the ring with Buddy. Buddy is trying to present the microphone like the Burger King to Seth. And Seth basically shoots eye lasers at him, takes the mic, blames Buddy for their loss at Payback. And he says, with the WWE title shot on the line tonight, I can't have any mistakes. Have but you, Murphy, screw this up for me. So get the hell out of my ring. Get the hell out of my sight. He says, I don't want to hear or see you until you figure out what you stand for, what side of history you're on. Buddy's trying to defend himself, and Seth goes, shut it. Shut your mouth. Shut it. Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
And says, I'll defeat Dominic on my own. And Buddy starts walking up the ramp, turns, looking real forlorn towards Seth, and then Dominic just lays him out from behind with a leg.
Yeah, Seth even gave him a slap on the back of the head, which is like probably the more humiliating thing.
Yeah. I was pretty much expecting Buddy to come out in the main event and cost Seth that match.
That'd have been so satisfying. Dude, I really hope they do something like that with Murphy. I really hate, because otherwise you're just perpetual sidekick, dude. And then when you go to AEW, you're just a nobody.
Yeah. Dude, he's such a good wrestler.
Or hopefully New Japan. I want to see him in the G1.
Oh, man, it'd be great. Put that junior heavyweight title on.
Apparently that New Japan show this weekend was like off the hook. Did you see that one gif of that dude? I don't know if it was in the New Japan show, but that dude coming off the top, like, and he does like a missile, like he's coming down to the bottom, like on top of some guys. They're supposed to catch him, but they just sort of drop him and he just like clunks. Oh. I'll send you the gif real quick.
Oh my goodness. All right, do that. I'll go through this match. So a lot of another really strong effort from Dom, man. Some good back and forth.
That guy's a solid wrestler, man.
He is.
You know, he's going to be main event in WrestleMania. Give it like 10 years or so. Like I'm actually really looking forward to, assuming he stays with WWE and assuming they keep him on TV, his development over, and it's gonna be a while in terms of him adding layers and layers and layers to his character. You know,
that's the only thing that's going to hold him back.
That's
if he can fun. If he can work out character and get stronger on the mic. Mm-hmm. Dude, they're going to push the heck out of this guy.
Well, yeah, that just takes time. That just takes time and development.
Totally, it takes reps.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
But that's potentially the only thing holding him back from being a main eventer, it feels like. Anyways, though, Seth won this. So Dom hits a 619, goes up top, misses a frog splash. Seth followed with the stomp to get the win. And then he hits another one after the match. And Ray and family are watching backstage. And they are like in horror over the fact that Dom got 2 curb stomps. But again, another really fun match. Dom, I mean, yeah, I assume he's going to add to his repertoire, his arsenal of moves. And, you know, it just takes reps on the mic, reps in the ring to work on the character stuff. But I think once he gets that, he's going to be fine. After that, Shane introduces Raw Underground as Titus is beating the heck out of somebody. He does the choke slam thing. He wins that. And then NWO Jay White hits the ring. Titus beats the hell out of him. Headbutts him a bunch, and then Riddick Moss steps in. This is actually a competitive contest. In the end, though, Riddick Moss KOs Titus with the right hand.
Yeah, didn't he give him a low blow, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
and then clocks him with the right hand. Yeah,
yeah, that mandible claw slam was great though.
That was crazy because he held him up there for a long time.
For days. After that, we had the Street Profits with Coach Dawkins' scouting report. We talked about this a little bit. His scouting report on Andrade was he's tranquilo and a former NXT champion, but he was like, but if he says that he's always cool, tranquilo, why is he always like pointing his fingers at people and being grumpy? They go over to Garza, wealthy, question mark. And what was the other thing? Lothario? Was it? What was the other one?
I just remember them making fun of him always wearing the same thing. But it was nice. It was expensive, but
yeah,
it's velvet. But he always wears it. Anyways, and after that, they just made fun of Zelina being short.
My wife is very short.
Saying that she couldn't get on rides at the amusement park because she doesn't meet the height minimum. So then next we see Akira Tozawa showing up at Thunderdome, and the parking dude's like, hey, you're not on the list. And he's like, I'm 24/7 champion. He says, no, you're not on the list. So he gets out of the car, gives the parking attendant some crap, checks the list. The whole list is blank. In the background, you see R-Truth kind of creeping. And then Akira opens up the parking attendant's jacket. Underneath is a ref's jersey. Truth rolls up to Tozawa. The ref counts the pin. R-Truth wins back the 24/7 title, and then Tozawa gets back in the car with the ref and drives off. Nothing really came of that, though.
Yeah, not really. After that, we had the Street Profits versus Andrade and Garza in a tornado match. Joe was putting over how the tornado aspect of things in multi-man matches are big in Mexico in the lucha culture, and therefore Andrade and Garza should have the advantage here. They did
for a long time, yeah.
For a long time, and then as soon as the Profits looked like they were close to closing the deal on this match, there was a Dawkins, such a great seller. He sold that back elbow like it shot him in the head. And then, of course, the lights start flickering out. Garza immediately, when the lights flicker, gets out of the ring, or he might not have been in the ring. He grabs Demi and runs off with her.
Yeah. And then Retribution circles the ring. They attack. There's a great bit with Zelina where she's circled by 3 members of Retribution. Kind of looks at him, thinks for a second, maybe I'll try to reason with them, and she does starts fighting. Retribution beats up everybody, and then leaves cheering. We see Adam Pearce next, chewing out security backstage, tells him, get at your post and do your job. Get to your post and do your job.
Boy.
Get to your post and do your job.
He was yelling at everybody, man.
He was. And then Shane, back in Raw Underground, the Iconics walk in. They're still upset. He's like, hey, relax, have a good time. Look, Jessamine Duke's in the ring, and she beats the heck out of somebody. Someone else steps up to Jessamine. Marina Shafir gets in the ring and then beats the heck out of her and makes her tap to that great arm leg triangle thing she does. That thing's awesome. That looks like that legit hurts.
Why does she look like she was dressed for a nice summer day at the park?
I know. She was like the furthest thing from fight gear.
Like Jessamine Duke looked like a badass. Everybody else looks like a badass. But yeah, she made
Marina Shafir had like a long plaid skirt on.
You know who it was that Marina Shafir tapped out, right? One of Damian Priest's hot tub ladies.
Oh, is that who that was?
The other hot tub lady is Joey Janela's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who apparently has also just been signed by WWE.
Just been signed. Yeah, she was an Evolve wrestler, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then Peyton pushes Billy Kay into the ring, and then Jessamine Duke kicks her head off, basically.
Yeah, so like they were gonna like the Iconics were like, okay, we're gonna do this, let's both get in, and then Peyton leaves Billy high and dry, metaphor for perhaps what's about to happen. Billy gets in, eats a nasty head kick, and Peyton's just like, ooh, goo.
Yeah. Next, we have outside the door of Raw Underground, Ricochet and Cedric are trying to hype up Apollo. Charlie steps in for an interview, asks Apollo if it's wise to face Shelton. He says, the old Apollo would have felt sorry for himself, just been content to have been U.S. champion. And Ricochet is the background. It's like, yeah, that Apollo's gone. And Apollo says, yeah, that's right. That Apollo is gone. The new Apollo is focused on getting that U.S. title back. And then Ricochet pipes in and says, hurt business, doesn't know what friendship is really about. They're just about the business. And then they all enter. They're going to show them, what real friendship is all about. They all enter Raw Underground. Next, we get Apollo Crews versus Shelton Benjamin. It's a little bit of back and forth. Crews locks onto Kimura. Shelton pushes up into the crowd, and then Hurt Business and the Ricochet, Cedric, Apollo Crews all brawl. They get back in the ring, and Hurt Business beats the heck out of them all. Beat them all up.
It's not even close, man. It's not even
beat them all up. And then we're backstage. Angel Garza and Demi are walking to the exit. And did she call Retribution Restoration?
I think I heard that from somewhere. I didn't notice it, but I think somebody
I thought I heard her say Restoration.
Like,
I hope that was intentional because that's funny.
We got it all wrong. We thought it was Retribution. It's really Restoration.
Restoration.
They're looking for old cars.
There you go.
To fix
They're
up.
looking to fix up old cabinets and dressers.
Exactly.
And armoires. So she gives Garza crap for abandoning everybody. He's like, no, they're all trained fighters. They'll be fine. I'm just worried about your safety because I wouldn't leave you behind. They start heading towards the exit, and Retribution busts in.
Yeah.
Like toss the security guard aside, and then the camera pans over, and Garza runs off.
Oh, man. What a creep.
And then Demi's like, oh, I better get going.
Yeah.
She follows suit.
Yeah, that was rad. So, yeah. I mean, dude, I don't know when they're going to do anything with Retribution. it's just it's more of they don't know.
Spinning their wheels.
Well, here's the thing, though, man, is that there were a larger variety of Restoration members tonight. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the 5 that we think it was going to be, or that were under there.
Mia was there. There's a shot of this segment with someone posted on Twitter as a close-up, and Mia is one of them.
Yeah.
You could hear Dijak's voice. That voice is unmistakable. Right. Whenever he's yelling, he's the one yelling orders to people is Dijak.
When they attacked the people in the ring, though, it was like a mass amount of people who were
there's
not.
More people.
Yeah.
I think Santana Garrett in that same still. I think it was Kristen Ashley that posted the still with some potential people it could be, and I think Santana Garrett was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not surprising. She's been Restoration before, as has Chelsea Green. She was probably one of them. Gee whiz. Do you follow Lucha Blog?
Yeah.
Good Lord. There's a still from some match yesterday. This guy's back is all jacked up. Oh my God, what is this? I gotta watch that at some point, whatever that is. Anyways, after that we had the main event: Keith Orton versus Keith Lee versus Seth Rollins. And this is basically started off with Orton and Rollins basically just trying to take Keith Lee out of the match, put him through a table.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Orton again was great. So he's at first working out something with Seth. Hey, let's work together to take Keith Lee out. And as soon as Seth's like, yeah, Orton rolls out of the ring. Mm-hmm. And then Seth get him crap, and Orton goes, you got this. I already worked tonight.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, the shortest match of any of the 3 competitors in the ring.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, Seth rolls out, gets to Randy's face. Randy's like, hey, I just changed my mind. Anyways, Orton's been great for months now. We got to see one of the meme shots with Keith Lee, but it wasn't framed as well as it was in NXT, where he was taken out of the match. He gets like rammed into the ring steps, put through the announce table, and he emerges on the apron. But they did the shot too wide, so it wasn't as dramatic as it should have been.
They're trying. Kevin Dunn is trying. He's like, hey, this guy is gifable. Let's try to get a gif going here. Oh, one of those like moving pictures. It's not video, but it kind of is. You mean a gif? Oh, what?
Oh, Vince calls it a GIF, probably.
It's a GIF. That fool's not savvy enough to call it a GIF.
He probably calls it a GIF.
Yeah.
.gif.
No, because that's what my mom used to call. She used to say, hey, Stevie, how many GB does your phone have? How many what? GB. Oh, gigabytes? How many gigs, Mom? Just say gigs. How many GB does it have?
Anyways, another great showing for Keith Lee. I mean, like, showing off his power, his speed. He did that slingshot fun splash on both of them. That was great. In the end, though, so Seth is in the corner, I think, hitting a bunch of strikes. Yeah, he sets up for a stomp. Lee catches him, hits a huge spirit bomb. Just then, Orton gets back in the ring, hits Lee with the RKO, but covers Seth for the win, probably knowing, given what happened the night before at Payback, one RKO is not going to be enough to defeat Keith Lee.
Yeah.
That's a nice little touch there.
Yeah, totally.
I'm protecting Keith Lee and not having him eat a loss.
Yeah.
In terms of the strategy of the match, it was actually pretty smart.
I mean, given that Rey's all busted up now and Dom is probably going to move it on to something else, you would think. Any chance we're going to get Seth versus Keith Lee next?
Could be.
That could be good. Another high profile. I just want Keith Lee to remain in high profile, cool stuff.
Definitely.
Look at that picture I just sent you, man.
All right, I'll look at picture you just sent.
All right. And that's the show. I'll go ahead and open up the Patreon question thread. Here.
What is that?
It's a messed up back is what it is.
That is messed up.
That dude's all messed up.
Ugh.
View. All right. Now, just a reminder here for everybody in the Twitch chat and everybody at home. We'll get to as many of these as we can. We don't get to them all. If you're going to highlight a message, that's how you get our attention. But we might not read it. We might not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jeremiah here says they claim that R-Truth is now a 39-time 24/7 champion. Truth now the most decorated champion in WWE history. That is correct. I think Edge was at 32 before, 32, 33. Raven was a 27-time hardcore champion.
Yeah.
So maybe it was Mia in Mercedes. Some people were saying it was Mercedes.
Some people are saying Mercedes as well. I just think that they're not going to Yeah, dude, I don't know, man.
They still know. Apart from Dijak, I don't know if they know exactly who's going to be it.
Dang MQ says thoughts on Morrow leaving WWE. Ooh.
I think we both kind of had a complex view of Morrow's work as an announcer.
Yep.
When he's good, he's really good.
Yep.
When he focuses too much on I feel like trying to be topical and entertaining, I feel like it takes away. Like at takeovers, he's generally really good because he's seemingly focused entirely on helping tell the story in the ring. Weekly NXT, it was hit or miss. Sometimes he'd be really good. Sometimes he'd be spend so much time making pop culture references it takes you out of the show.
Yeah.
Wish him the best. He's obviously a extremely talented dude. So to me, it seemed like it was amicable.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think also I don't know the circumstances behind him opting to leave, but it does signify a further change in NXT. There will always be that period of time, 2017 to 2019 or whatever, when it was those guys. It was Gargano, Ciampa, Andrade, Aleister Black, Ricochet. Did I mention the Undisputed Era? It'll always be that crew that just completely just took NXT to such another level. And Morrow was their voice.
Was the voice of it, yeah. Morrow and Nigel. But they literally even, I don't think they'll ever do this again with anybody else, when they had the Morrow cam and they would show off 3 minutes of footage of him just from his own camera. And it's compelling viewing to see how he gets into it. He was so into the show.
And that to me, look, I agree with everything you said. Like sometimes Morrow would be a bit too much. Usually it was on TV. When it was a takeover, it was like, okay, man, I'm all in. Like, I know you're going to he gave it a big fight feel. He gave everything a big fight feel. And so, but I think it's time. I think it's, I'm kind of over the Morrow era. Like I'm good with him going as a fan of the product. I want to see new blood.
There was always such a good balance between Morrow, Nigel, and Percy. Percy was really good too.
I liked Percy. I did.
There was always such a good balance between the three of them that, once Percy left and then Nigel, I guess, because of the COVID stuff, can't be on NXT. I like Beth Phoenix's work a lot on NXT. Just the dynamic's different.
Sure.
And especially when they were kind of doing stuff over Zoom and they were kind of talking over each other at times, it felt, sort of like how we do it sometimes. We talk over each other. It feels kind of clunky, but for a podunk operation like this, it's not a huge deal. But for NXT, which is on the USA Network, you expect a certain degree of polish. I don't know.
We're polished, baby. We're polished.
Got a couple new subs here from Nat. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then It's Angel gifted a bunch of subs. Thank you very much.
Colin Branch asks, could Retribution be taken seriously if all of them unmask and then 3 out of the group absolutely obliterate the rest of the people with them? Like if it's Dijak, Shane Thorne, and Mia Yim, they turn around and completely kill everybody else. That would just be confusing.
It would be. I mean, short of them unmasking and having it be NWO circa 1996, I don't know if there's any way to take them seriously, honestly.
Dude, I know. Because one of the points you've made is so sound. If they wrestle in their regular gear, it's weird. If they wrestle in their sweatpants and black hoodies, it's weird also. Weird. The whole thing is weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Cyfixia, can you guys give the kayfabe reason why WWE is a company that's full of trained fighters that has the worst security? Also, why does their security look less threatening than their own roster? Well, I think you answered your own question here. They go out and hire security who is ill-equipped to handle a threat such as Retribution. And then there's also the thing, especially in the PC era, when they had Performance Center recruits and trainees in the crowd, why weren't any of them jumping over the barricade or going around the barricade to take on Retribution? They make a point of saying they're all students at the Performance Center. They're wrestlers too.
They're
training to learn how to fight. They're
football
athletes.
Players. MMA fighters.
Why don't they take the fight to them?
And they all scurried away when poor Jessie Kamea got her ass beat by some of the female members of Restoration.
But then 2 weeks later, she was in Restoration.
Well, not in kayfabe, she wasn't.
Well, but, it seemed like she was.
Eddie Brock's Venom said, I had a question. Night of Champions is the next pay-per-view. Drew should be good by then. So if Randy was number one contender for Payback and Lee beat Randy, does that make the... Oh, I think this was done before the whole show.
About Keith Lee being... maybe Keith Lee should be number one contender.
Yeah. I think, the case could be made for that. But then they did a series of matches. I'm always good. Hey, a series of matches. Plus, he got an easy first round. Dolph.
Yeah, Fear and Loathing, not seen on Raw. Randy Orton brings Aleister Black a gift basket for becoming a heel.
What's in the gift basket? You know what? Early access to Battlegrounds. The new...
Well, no, it's all... Here's the how to be a heel gift basket. So you got some brass knuckles.
Okay, good.
Maybe like a instruction book of how to swing a steel chair.
That's good.
Like a general handbook on how to cheat.
Who's the most famous person who had one eye? And did that person write an autobiography that Aleister Black could then read and get inspiration from now that he has got one eye?
I think John Ford, the director, had one eye for this.
Really?
I think so.
Didn't know that.
Didn't he have an eye patch?
Interesting. I don't know. Let's see here. Well, you look up if John Ford had an eye patch. Let's see here. Moses Supposes asks, what are the ceilings for Peyton Royce and Billy Kay during their singles runs? I don't know. Peyton's, I think, would be, the word is Vince is high on Peyton Royce, so probably pretty high. I think Billy Kay has all the tools. And it only takes one good run that catches, the audience. The audience's attention to do anything with it. So I think both of them, they got the ingredients. Billy Kay is just nothing but personality, man, and she's got a great look.
Oh yeah, both of them are really good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at famous people who had an eye patch.
What do you got?
The best I can do is list the people like Tom York. He was born with one eye fused to get closed.
Yeah.
That's why he has that kind of one.
I always just thought it was super lazy.
Mm-mm.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? There's not more people that are famous that have an eye patch.
Slick Rick.
Okay, yeah, sure. Slick Rick. Didn't Bushwick Bill at one point have one eye?
Perhaps.
Did he get stabbed or something or shot in the eye? And then did a video about it?
That sounds familiar.
Doesn't that sound right? Didn't that happen?
All right. I'll check into that. You go ahead and do another question.
Okay, let's see what's on Twitch. White Brownie, if NXT does well in both views and demos tomorrow and next Tuesday, do you see USA wanting to move them permanently to Tuesdays? I don't know how much. Vince would be super opposed to that, given that they're going to rerun on Sci-Fi Channel. That's actually something they could do. If the rerun on Sci-Fi does well and enough to maybe chip away at AEW's ratings, they could run on Tuesdays, get the big share, and then run again on Sci-Fi on Wednesdays and just try to chip away at AEW a little
Exactly.
bit.
So apparently Bushwick Bill got shot in the eye.
Gee whiz, I was right about that. That's crazy.
I'm just trying to do something. Will we ever get a Raw Underground Retribution crossover? Maybe Retribution will try to restore Raw Underground back to just Raw.
Maybe. Yeah, they're going to restore them. Exactly. This is a great question from Joe Juarez. What kind of chance do you think Restoration would get in front of an audience? They'd be shit on.
Oh,
it'd be
garbage in the ring.
It would
garbage
be
in the ring.
Go away heat like you've never seen before.
It'd be like the end of every WCW Nitro in 1999. Just garbage filling the ring.
Garbage. Terrible.
Garbage. Michael So Dope. Why does WWE take the worst commercial breaks? There were 2 within the first 20 minutes of the show.
Got to pay those bills.
I feel like there's a lot of commercials tonight.
Hey, man. Pay the bills. Over here on the Discord, Alex Foster speculating Demi Burnett, leader of Retribution. Could be. She left. They followed. They didn't run
true.
after her.
That's true. Sola says, both the Iconics have said on the New Days podcast they want to leave wrestling together as they came in. If they were broken up, that would be it for them in WWE. Given that, how seriously should we consider singles runs for both?
Very. They're not going to leave. Unless they completely bury Billie Kay, then she might leave.
Yeah.
When her contract's up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wouldn't take that serious. As long as they get to travel together and stuff. Hopefully they come up with good stories for both of them, man. Let them fly.
Fear and Loathing says, safe to say Steve would be the one throwing Larson in the ring on Raw Underground like Peyton Royce.
In kayfabe, perhaps. As a shoot, no, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna watch you get your ass beat, man. Because here's the thing: if I ate the bullet for you, I'd be able to hold that over your head. Till
that's the thing. It's
die.
not the thing where you
Till
don't want
we
anything
die.
bad to happen to me. You just want to have something that you can hold over me.
I'd be so sad if you got in there and started getting your ass beat, and I wasn't there to help get your ass beat a little bit. I mean, I'd throw, but I don't know what I could do to a Lashley and Shelton Benjamin MVP.
You couldn't do anything.
I might be able to. The dude that Titus laid out with the mandible choke slam. Maybe I could do that to that guy. Apparently, the guy that got killed on Raw Underground showed up on 205 a couple nights later. So he was okay.
He was fine. All right.
Yeah, he didn't die.
Nat says, since Steve won't cover up Larson's murder, he would definitely throw Steve into the ring. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't throw Steve in the ring.
That's a lot different than not.
It's two different things.
Writing me out for a murder. But I don't know. I do kind of feel like you would be more apt to throw me into the ring than I would you.
No, I'd be like, let's get the hell out of here.
No, come on, dude. You wanted to throw when we were at that bar that one time.
But the dude wasn't a trained fighter. I could tell just by looking at
it. Man, you got to live a little bit. Get in that ring. All the worst is going to happen. You get knocked the fuck out. They'll be fine.
I mean, the worst that could happen is I could take a bad spill and break my neck. That's the worst that could happen.
Nobody's going to let that happen. They're all safe workers. Schnauzer says, would Alistair fit better in the Monday Night Messiah role? I'd like to see Seth change his gimmick to a WWE apologist. Yes, that's great. And yes, I think that Alistair actually would make a great Monday Night Messiah. Dang MQ has a right. Would both of you throw Hilton into the ring for like maybe a couple minutes? I'd be like, hey, let's get him in here. He gets in there.
I'd throw him in and run.
I wouldn't let him dwell too long. I'll be like, what? You wanted the ball, Hilton. Now you got the ball, buddy.
Exactly.
Thank you. It's Angel for the gifted subs. Appreciated. This is a great question. Freshly Squeezed Pugpool asks, is the zigzag the least effective finisher in WWE right now?
It's not technically his finish anymore. Hasn't been for a while.
Yeah, it's funny to see that happen. Like, finishers lose their effectiveness when they go to a different finisher.
Mm-hmm. Jay Molina says the Ghetto Boys album cover, We Can't Be Stopped, has Bushwick right after he shot his eye out.
I remember that, yeah. Yeah.
That's all coming back to me now.
Yeah. Dex Guns says, if Retribution has a subgroup called Restoration, what is Restoration's gimmick? Well, come on.
They would go and fix all the stuff that Retribution broke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. There you go. To make sure that they don't get billed.
Dump the announce table. They come in, put it back the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Chainsaw through the ring ropes.
Yeah.
Make sure they get fixed.
They're like, 205's coming up in 5 minutes. We got to get this fixed, guys. Come on. Yep. Restoration now. Hey, guys.
Yep.
Restoration. Get in there.
I'm just trying to do something. Says, can we please just get Ali back again? He's been wrestling on Main Event, apparently.
Man. I want to see him in the G1, dude.
Heck yes. He's so good.
Let's do a 10 for the win. Top 10 inexplicably buried talents.
John Elite A. What's a better tag team name for Liv and Ruby, Riott Squad or Live to Riot?
Okay, so people were saying that are they actually going to change their name to that? Are they going to change their name?
I don't know. They said that on the kickoff show after they won their match.
That they're changing their name,
Riot
right?
to Live and Live to Riot.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, Nats, this is an interesting question. Power rank top wrestlers to be on the next Bachelor. They have a talent exchange with producers of The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor Pad.
Dawkins.
Is he? I don't know if he's married, but he just had a kid. I think he's married.
In kayfabe, are these people going in kayfabe or not?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
In kayfabe, he seems to be single.
Yes.
Okay. So him. Well, obviously Garza. Drew's married. He's mentioned her in kayfabe as well. Maybe the Gameskeeper.
So Angela Dawkins is married. So sorry, Gameskeeper. Sure, that's good.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's been many a cold winter since I've seen the unders of a lass.
I'm just trying to do something, says Dexter Loomis.
Dexter Loomis. She's so what's your favorite activity to do in the summer? Fuck.
He just wouldn't say anything.
Murder. What? Mergers and acquisitions. Yeah, and Ivar, of course.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. Samoa Joe.
Damian Priest.
Hi, how's it going? Would you like to see my dick? I'm very well endowed. What did he say? Oh, I'm well equipped.
Yeah, I'm well equipped.
Then he looked down.
Oh, it's pulled my earbuds out of my head.
Jorge says Cameron Grimes. What about Cameron Grimes?
Oh, gosh.
Who wants to see my rocket? I'll take you straight to the moon. Anyways, that's all I got over here, man.
Same.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson.